Shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem HaKakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect. Hey, Shalom. This is the brother Yakanan from the GMS Houston camp, and Lord willing, this is a quick, edifying, to the point, and the subject matter is everybody's seen, Alazar, saying what I came out like Thursday, Friday, that he's no longer a Hebrew Israelite. And all of us that are in the truth, that know, that can see, and we've seen that this guy's been a false prophet, that he's been false, and it's only a matter of time, that he falls off, especially since the Peggy Sue thing, Hey, and it's just an example. Some of the titles I was thinking of was like, don't be a bad example, because this guy has been a bad example of an Israelite over and over again. And you have many examples of, you have good examples of Israelites, and you have bad examples. And through the scriptures, and we have the eye salve to compare it. We compare these things to the scriptures. A carnal man versus a spiritual man. The ultimate example of a good example, or the greatest example, is, matter of fact, let's see here. The ultimate example is being Yahushai. So, this is Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 2. Looking unto Yahushai, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of the Most High, Yahweh Shem Yahushai. So we're looking to Yahushai. He's the ultimate example of how to be, how to walk. Even being the author. Let's look at that word for author real quick. This is G747. Archegos says a chief leader, a captain, a prince. So one who takes the lead in anything and thus affords an example, a predecessor, in a matter, a pioneer. So this is Yahushai, and you got to ignore that image that's popped up there, but it's not important for the time being. You look into Yahushai, he's the ultimate example of integrity, of walking, of wisdom, of mercy, of sacrifice, putting others before himself. He even said, his whole goal is like, I'm doing my Father's will. I'm not doing my will. I'm not doing the things that I want to do. I'm doing my Father's will. This comes first. So Yahushua being that ultimate example, and even I'm just going to go to the precepts, but this is 2 Peter chapter 2 and verse 1. But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privately shall bring in damnable heresies, saying you don't have to worship Yahushua, saying that Paul wasn't can't be substantiated. Saying that you could fighting that you could prophesy wearing hats, having your head covered. Bringing weapons and making the ministry of merchandise. Even going as far the Peggy Sue, exalting yourself. So again, but there were false prophets. Also, we're going to be here another maybe 1,000 years, however long, because you can't see it. So, but there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you. So with Peter saying this, we should expect there's going to be false teachers, but we got to watch out for them. We know they're going to be here, but we have to watch out for the signs of them. What are they teaching? They're teaching false doctrine. They're going off You know, they're saying that the men of Yahweh Shem Shai aren't the men of Yahweh Shem Shai, and that they are. You know, they're walking contrary. You know, here it is, they're exalting themselves, and meanwhile, a breaking knowingly and willingly breaking the commandments, giving into their flesh. So, but there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privately shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that bought them. So you don't have to worship Yahweh Shai. You know, you denying Yahweh Shai. It says all knees shall bow. And guess what? You being in this truth, guess what? You're the first ones that are acknowledging Yahweh Shai, acknowledging his true name. Everything coming with that. You were the first ones bowing down to him. You know, acknowledging who he is. And you're denying him. Even denying the Lord that bought them. He bought us with his blood. He redeemed us with his blood. And bring upon themselves swift destruction. So guess what? Hey, he said he's no longer a Hebrew Israelite. You know, he done all this stuff. Hey, you got destruction coming to you. That's all you got forward to look for. That's all you have to look forward to. You know, you got false hopes that this destruction ain't coming in this lifetime, but all the signs say otherwise. You know, the wars, the rumors of wars, the earthquakes, the uproars of the people losing their minds, the MOTB, right here, it's right here. So your destruction is coming swiftly. Verse 2, and many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. The way of truth, calling us grapists. Meanwhile, it's the truth. You know, not that we're grapists, but the laws that are in the book. You know, how to handle these things. So, and many people gonna follow these false teachers. That's because Yahweh Shem Shai doesn't want them. If you get caught up, you know, following a false teacher, a false prophet, guess what? Yahweh Shem Shai sifted you out. And through covetousness shall they with feigned words make merchandise of you, selling everything that's not nailed down, selling the hats, the t-shirts, the super chats, you know, putting the cash app, selling the debate courses. Take my debate course, this, that. Meanwhile, the sheep are too dumb to realize what's going on. You know, those that follow you, says, and through covetousness shall they with feigned words make merchandise of you, whose judgment now of a long time lingereth not, and their damnation slumbereth not. So you especially in these times, the destruction is coming quickly. You know, it's only going to be a matter of time before those nukes drop. This is John chapter 10 and verse 12. But he that is an hireling and not the shepherd, whose own sheep are not, whose own the sheep are not. So you, Alazar, you're a hireling. You know, here it is. We're taking care of Yahweh Shem Shai's sheep, which he gave to Yahweh Shai, tending to them. We have care for them. But you being a hireling, you don't care. They're not yours. You know, you had that mentality of, oh, I just work here. You even said it in the video, oh, I just work here. So that mentality, and guess what? You don't really care. But he that is an hireling and not the shepherd, whose own the sheep are not, seeth the wolf coming, and leaveth the sheep, and fleeth, and the wolf catcheth them, and scattereth the sheep. So here, you having that, oh, I just work here mentality. Oh, I ain't say nothing about who said I'm gonna be fighting against wolves and stuff like this. Now you teaming up with, doing debates with Christians and all this kind of stuff, teaming up with them. Now in the time when Esau is getting ready to come in with great wrath, you giving up the ministry. Now that the ice camps are being built, Alligator Alcatraz is being built. They're talking about reopening these abandoned prisons, reopening actual Alcatraz. Now you fleeing. Oh, I'm not an Israelite no more, but I'm still gonna blog and do all kinds of stuff. Man, nigga, fuck you. Now when the time when you're most needed, which you're not needed. None of us are needed. But at the times when the danger is right here. Now in the time when Jacob's trouble is right here. You're like, nah, I'm done. I quit. And good for you. Verse 13, the hireling fleeth because he is an hireling and careth not for the sheep. All you cared about was that money. You didn't care about actual Israelites. You didn't care about the truth. You didn't care about Yahushai. All you saw was a come up. All you care about was being a gangster, wearing your stupid hats, your big ass head going bald and shit. That's the reason why you wear the hat all the time. You're ashamed of your baldness. This is John chapter 15 and verse 4. Abide in me and I in you. This is Yahushai speaking. You abide. Let's look at that word for abide real quick. G3306 Mino says to remain, to abide, in reference to a place, to sojourn, to tarry, not to depart, to continue to be to continue to be present, to be held, kept continually. To in reference to state or condition, to remain as one, not to become another or different. So those two continue to be present in Yahushai, to be held, to be kept continually in Yahushai, to remain as one in Yahushai, and not to become another or different, or to wait or await for one. So we're waiting for Yahushai. We're abiding in Yahushai. We're continually living in Him, and I and you, as the branch cannot bear fruit of itself except it abide in the vine. No more can ye except you abide in me. So Yahushai is that vine. He's that life source to us. We have to remain in Him. We can't separate. We can't do whatever we want to do. We have to stay with Yahushai. That's our life source. Verse 5, I am the vine, ye are the branches. He that abideth in me, and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit. For without me, ye can do nothing. So we're to abide in Yahushua. Stay in Him. Stay in this truth. And the fruit will come. The fruit of our labors, it'll come in due time. But without Yahushua, you're gonna be working in vain. You can't do nothing without Him. If a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch, and is withered, And men gather them and cast them into the fire, and they are burned. So, hey, like Eleazar, hey, he didn't abide in Yahushua. He didn't acknowledge Yahushua. He didn't give him his due respect. And he's only withering away. You know, his organization split from him. The Peggy Sue thing. Now he's not an Israelite no more. Now, what do you have left to look forward to? To be cast into the fire. That's all you good for. Fuel for the fire. This is 2 Peter chapter 1. And, I'm going to start up a little bit. 1 in verse, but the point is in verse 10. This is 2 Peter chapter 1 and verse 2. Grace and peace be multiplied unto you through the knowledge of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai and of Yahushai our Lord, according to his divine power, have given unto us all things that pertain unto life and godliness, abiding in Yahushua. He's given all the knowledge. Everything has been made known. Everything that we need to know has been made known. Everything that pertains to salvation, to life, has been made known unto us through the power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. And according as his divine power have given unto us all things that pertain unto life and godliness, through the knowledge of him that hath called us unto glory and virtue, whereby are given unto us exceeding great and precious promises, that by these ye may be partakers of the divine nature, having escaped the corruption that is in the world through lust. So, everything that's in the world is all pleasing to the flesh. And through this knowledge, through Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai having mercy on us, we've been given a way out. And that's through Yahushai shedding his blood. And now we're able to partake in these promises, the covenant, that was once promised to us and that we were once cut off from. But now we're allowed to return through Yahushai. So in that returning, we're going to forsake the things of this world and for better things. And beside this, giving all diligence, add to your faith virtue. It's like add to your faith virtue, and virtue knowledge. So let's look at this. I'm going to look at some of these words real quick. This is G703, arete. This is for virtue. It says virtuous course of thought, feeling, and action. And it says virtue, moral goodness. Any particular moral excellence as modesty, purity. So we're learning how to live again. We're living moral, virtuous lives through the scriptures, through learning through Yahushua, through learning the laws over again, learning how to walk amongst a wicked generation, and through virtue, knowledge. So G1108, gnosis, says knowledge signifies in general intelligence, understanding. A deeper, or the general knowledge of Christian religion, the deeper, more perfect, and enlarged knowledge of this religion, such as belongs to the more advanced, especially things lawful and unlawful for Christians. So, hold on. I thought, according to these modern Christians, the law is done away with, so you don't have to know these things. So, guess what? We have to know, once we're learning, we have to know what's lawful, what's unlawful. And then we had to learn how to walk in this world. Moral wisdom, such as seen in right living. So guess what? We're learning how to walk in this kingdom, how to move, how to maneuver. And to knowledge, temperance. G1466, egkratia, says self-control. You're learning, guess what? You're learning, what did it say? You're learning moral uprightness. You're learning knowledge, the laws, how to move. Then you're learning temperance, self-control, which, hey, this false prophet, he lacks. He don't have no self-control. The temperance, and to temperance, patience. Patience is G5281. Hypomone says steadfastness, constancy, endurance. In the New Testament, the characteristics of a man who has not swerved from his deliberate purpose and his loyalty to faith and piety by even the greatest trials and sufferings. So you not move. You're learning how to suffer without breaking. You're learning how to endure these things. And to patience, godliness. This is G2150. Eusebia says reverence, respect. Piety towards the Most High, godliness. So you're learning reverence, respect. You're learning respect to Yahushai. You're learning respect to your brothers, to your elders, to Yahushai, to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. You're learning a whole lot in this. And to godliness, brotherly kindness. That's G5360, Philadelphia. That's fraternal affection, brotherly love, love of the brethren. So through this, you learning how to love. And not according to this world. You're learning what true, actual love is according to the scriptures. Not just a fuzzy wuzzy feeling and butterflies in your stomach. And to godliness, brotherly kindness, and to brotherly kindness, charity, which this is G26, agape, affection, goodwill, love, benevolence. So actual love that you have for your brother. You know, not just saying you love your brother, but hey, certain situations, hey, you're gonna help them out. You're gonna go out of your way. Not something that a hireling would do, because a hireling is just, hey, that's a fucking nigga. A nigga ain't gonna help his brother. A nigga gonna be looking to get over on his brother. Verse 8, for if these things be in you and abound, if these things be in you and abound, that meaning if you have these things, you have these characteristics in you, guess what? That's Yahushai dwelling in you. And they make you that ye shall neither be barren nor unfruitful in the knowledge of our Lord Yahushai Hamashiach. So guess what? If you have these things, you're going to learn more about Yahushai. You're going to learn more about Yahushai. You're going to be more like him. So on and vice versa. But he that lacketh these things is blind and cannot see afar off, and have forgotten that he was purged from his old sins. Well, I've been a gangster since I was 9 years old. This, that, whatever. I never quit doing that. Man, that Israelite stuff, that's just a trend. That's just a movement. Movement stop. The gangster life, that's forever. Fucking bullshit. But he that lacketh these things is blind. So you're blind and cannot see afar off. Matter of fact, that word for see afar off, let's look at that. G3467, myopazo. That sounds like the modern term. They have it when you go to the optometrist or whatever. They call it myopia, meaning you're nearsighted. Meaning really you're blind. You can't see, you can barely see what's in front of you. So to shut the eyes, G3467, myopazo. To shut the eyes, i.e. to blink, cannot see afar off. To see dimly, to see only what is near. Oh, I didn't even read that. But yeah, so you can only see what's up close. And what you can see up close, all you see is money. You can't see the kingdom. You can't see, you can't see the kingdom. You can't see the ICBMs, the nuclear missiles. You can't see this kingdom crumbling. You can't see the MOTB. And you're blind. And you've been blinded by the lust of this world. And ultimately, Yahweh Shem Yahushai didn't want you. He used you as a sifting agent. He used you to sift those that he didn't want. Verse 10, wherefore the rather, brethren, give diligence to make your calling and election sure. For if you do these things, ye shall never fall. So let's look at that diligence. G4704, spudazo, says to use speed, to make effort, to be prompt, to be earnest. Let's look at here. To endeavor, to labor, to study. Says, I'm going to jump down to number 2. Says to exert oneself, to endeavor, to give diligence. So you have to exert your oneself. Like exercise, in exercising or whatever, you want to make some gains or whatever like that. Or you want to get endurance. Guess what? You have to go beyond your limit. You don't have to go like far beyond it, but you gotta push yourself at least to that limit. You gotta exert yourself. Sweat a little bit. Breathe a little heavy. Things like that. You have to use it. You have to use those muscles. The muscles that you want to train, and you got to actually use them. So if you want to get better at charity, you got to learn about being charitable and actually do it. This is I'm gonna close out with this 2 Corinthians chapter 2. And I'm sorry, 2 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 5. 2 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 5. Salaki. 2 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 5. Examine yourselves, whether ye be in the faith. Prove your own selves. So let's look at that. Examine yourselves. G3985, Perizo. To try whether a thing can be done, to make a trial of, for the purpose of ascertaining his quality or what he thinks or how he will behave himself. In a good sense, in a bad sense, to test one maliciously, to try oneself, to try one's faith, virtue, character by enticement to sin. But just right here, this makes it good. To try or make trial of or test for the purpose of ascertaining his quality or what he thinks or how he will behave himself. So you examine yourself. How would I behave myself? How would I handle this? Looking at my own self, all the knowledge that I've taken in, how would I handle this situation? Know ye, examine yourselves whether ye be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves, how that Yahushua Hamashiach is in you, except ye be reprobates. So test yourself. Look at yourself. Examine what you're doing. Examine your actions. Are you giving in to these lusts? Or are you fleeing from them like you would from a snake? And then, know ye not your own selves, how that Yahushua Hamashiach is in you. So, hey, you know that Yahushua is in you. The Spirit is dwelling in you. Except you be reprobates. So, unless you're a reject, Yahushua ain't dealing with rejects. You want to be like this guy. Yahushua ain't dwelling in you. And you don't want to be that example. You want to be who Yahushua is dwelling in. But hey, Lord willing, this is edifying. I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the 144,000 and the rest of your life. Hey, shalom.